I'm sure we've all heard of the crazy new AI technology coming out that can do everything from write your final paper to add a puppy into any photo. Well, I got curious. What if I had it write me a workout? Today we're using ChatGPT for the first time, and it's going to write me a full body functional workout. And then I'm gonna do it. But first we have to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community built to help you learn and grow. Whether you want to start a digital business or improve your painting skills, Skillshare has something for everyone. Now, I've been super intrigued by all of these new AI programs popping up online and trying to figure out the best ways that they could potentially make my life easier. So a course I recently started was Make AI Work for You with Smitesh Mistry. One of the hardest parts of being online is simply coming up with enough content ideas. There are months where I can easily map out an entire month and others where I feel like I have nothing to say. So playing with different prompts on things like ChatGPT have been an interesting new way to create content. Now, like I said, there are thousands of courses over endless topics, so no matter your goal, remember that it's never too small and Skillshare can help you along the way. Now, if any of this sounds intriguing, I have a deal for you. The first 1,000 people to use my link down below will get a free month trial to Skillshare. So if you end up snagging one of those memberships, definitely let me know which course you're taking down below. And thank you one more time to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now let's get into the workout. I said I'm a 34-year-old female and want a full body functional workout. That's great. A full body functional workout is an excellent way to improve your overall strength, endurance, and mobility. Functional exercises engage multiple muscle groups and mimic real-life movements, making them efficient and effective for everyday activities. I'll take that. Here's a sample full-body functional workout routine that you can try. So we'll kind of chat through it, and then I'll pop in piece by piece the day that I do the workout. Warm up. We're going to start with 5 to 10 minutes of light cardiovascular activity, such as jogging, cycling, or jumping jacks to get your blood flowing and warm up your muscles. This is where I have an issue. Just thinking of getting your body warm is not necessarily enough. We need to think about mobilizing the joints that we're going to be using. We want to think about bringing a little activation to muscles that you typically might not use as much during the day, maybe the glutes, maybe your core, maybe your back. So simply jogging on a treadmill isn't going to be the best bang for your buck and prime you for your workout. But since this is what it says to do, we're going to do it. Good morning. Cheers. We are on our way to the gym. So I'm going to count this as my 5 to 10 minutes of aerobic activity because the walk to the gym is about 15 minutes. But I 1000% am still going to need to foam roll, do some mobility work when I get there because I will not be able to get through this workout without hurting myself otherwise. So a few of the things that I'm going to make sure I do is foam roll my quads. Since we're doing squats, I'm going to make sure that my hip and ankle mobility are feeling good. A little bit of glute activation. Since we're doing some single side stuff with the lunges, I'm going to make sure that I get in some unilateral stability stuff right in the beginning. Definitely my core, my back, my pussy, and my crack. Okay. So just kind of a normal head to toe mobility activation type of warm up since we're kind of doing a head to toe workout today. It's definitely high volume, so I'm going to be using lighter weights than I normally would, but let's get to it. All right, so it looks like this is all just one exercise after another, do your 3 sets of whatever and then move it on. So first exercise is squats. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart, lower your body as if sitting back into a chair, keeping your knees in line with your toes. Push through your heels to return to the starting position. Perform 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Okay, so I love starting with a squat. That's a big compound movement. You're going to use a lot of different muscles for it, a lot of different joints. The place where I have an issue is keeping your knees in line with your toes. That is such a myth. Your knees should go over your toes in a squat. I would actually love to see you get full range of motion in a squat without your knees going over your toes. It's been really disproven that that's a dangerous position to be in. One of the functional ways that we bring our knees over our toes day to day is walking up and down the stairs. Push through your heels to return to the starting position. I talk about this a lot, but the cue of push toward your heels, it's a little bit outdated because it tends to have people lift up their toes. That's kind of the effect that it brings. So while I understand we're probably cueing that because we want the heels down, and a lot of people have limited ankle mobility, so you think that's a good cue for them. But instead, I like to think of the foot as a tripod. So we're pushing through the big toe, the pinky, and the heel all together to drive up. And then, oh my God. Okay, 12 to 15 reps. I'm going to have to lower the weight that I use because I'm used to working for 8 to 10. So, right, next exercise is push-ups. I like the order of this. So we just worked more of the lower body. Now we're going to switch the work to more of the upper body. I think that's smart programming. Assume the position. Why is it written like that? Assume a plank position with your hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Lower your body by bending your elbows, keeping your back straight until your chest nearly touches the floor. Push back up to the starting position. If regular push-ups are too challenging, you can modify by placing your knees on the ground. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. The only thing here is instead of cueing someone to bring their knees to the ground, I would actually cue people to elevate the hands instead. Bringing the knees to the ground is going to take a lot of the core out of the exercise. And for most people, the core is actually the hardest part of it. So what I would do instead is shorten the lever by bringing your hands up higher.
So sure I'm distressed. Blame it on the internet. I try so hard to be something I'm not.
All right, next up is lunges. So I'm looking ahead right now. So lunges are a unilateral exercise. The next exercise are deadlifts. I would swap that. The reason because deadlifts are going to be a bigger lift than a lunge, and you want to get your big work out of the way at the beginning. So I like that we alternated squat, lower body push, push-ups, upper body push. I would now, instead of going for a unilateral push, I would push my God, how many more times can I say push? I would flip the deadlifts and the lunges here and get in my lower body big compound pull before going into unilateral work. But that's just me. Okay. But anyway, we're doing lunges first. So stand with your feet hip width apart. Take a step forward. Ooh, front lunges. Ugh, brutal. Okay. I hate these. They're just harder. They're a lot more work on your core. They can be harder on your knees. Like they're just harder. Take a step forward with your right foot, lowering your body until both knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. Push through your front heel, the heel again, to return to the starting position and repeat on the other leg. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps on each leg. This is high volume. This is going to kill me.
I just hope that someone else can make me stop. 'Cause I think I'm turning around, but it's time to stop pretending.
All right, now we've made it into our deadlifts. I'd also like to specify, it does not specify where I'm holding the weight, what type of modality this is. Like, am I doing back squats? Am I doing an offset squat? Am I doing trap bar deadlifts? Am I doing an RDL? It's ChatGPT, it's fine. But yeah, I just think that's interesting. Anyway, deadlift, stand with your feet hip width apart, holding a dumbbell or kettlebell. I'm gonna eat my words. It's literally telling me where to hold the weight. Oops. Well, for the other ones, it doesn't say. Holding a dumbbell or kettlebell in each hand in front of your thighs, so it's an RDL. Hinge at your hips, keeping your back straight, and lower the weight toward the floor. Engage your glutes and hamstrings to return to the starting position. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. That's, I think, the best one yet. The only thing is say engage your glutes and hamstrings. People don't really know how to do that. One of the things that I like to cue people to do is really grip the floor. Think of screwing your feet into the floor and use ground tension to help activate the back of the leg. But a lot of this is also going to be easier to do if you actually did some activation work in your warm-up instead of just jogging on a treadmill.
Call me out, I'll be overwhelmed. And I'm sorry for not speaking up. I never share my feelings, but I finally get to be myself.
Okay, next one is a plank. Once again, I would swap this with the med ball slams. I would also, what are we doing? I'm looking ahead now. Okay, put a pin in that. I would swap this with the med ball slams. But anyway, plank. Start in a push-up position, but rest on your forearms instead of your hands. So a forearm plank. That's such a weird way to phrase that. Engage your core, keep your body in a straight line from head to heels, and hold the position for 30 to 60 seconds. Rest for 30 seconds and repeat for a total of 3 sets. All right. I like that they give you rest time there. I would say, honestly, if you're doing a forearm plank correctly, you don't need more than 30 seconds. You don't. If you're you could go up to 60 seconds, that's fine. Any more than that, you're sitting in your joints. You're not you're not using your core to get the movement done. Honestly, like you can do whatever you want. It's a waste of your time. If you can just get a really solid 30, maybe 45-second plank and really get your core on, that's all you need.
I hate it waste pictures at the discotheque. I try so hard to be something you want.
Okay, so the med ball slams. Here's my rationale. Number one, this is just a bigger, again, it's a bigger movement than a plank. Plank to me is either like beginning of the workout in the warm up, get your core on, or at the end as like a core finisher. And there's different reasons why you would put things different places. We're not going to get into that in this video. So bare minimum, I would swap these. I'm also now going to look at the reps. So it's saying 10 to 12 reps. This is kind of like, you could either argue this is like the high end of power or the low end of endurance. If this is for endurance or like cardio, I would keep this at the end and choose a lighter weight. But if we're working this for power, I'm going to put it at the beginning. I'm going to put it like, I'm going to do like skill work, power, and then my strength, all depending on my goals too, right? So again, I think this comes down to like why you're programming it, and you could argue either way with this rep range. Anyway, med ball slams. Hold a medicine ball with both hands and stand your feet shoulder width apart. Raise the ball overhead, then forcefully slam it down into the ground in front of you. Catch the ball on the rebound and repeat for 10 to 12 reps. I would say just thinking of everything we've done so far, we have worked sagittal plane, sagittal plane, sagittal plane, sagittal plane, isometric, sagittal plane. Oh God, we'll get to that. Sagittal plane. So part of functional training too, in my brain, especially if by this definition, everyday activities, we don't just work sagittal plane, which is up, down, front, back. We work side to side. We rotate. I think rotating is such an underused plane of motion in training in general. Maybe I'll make a whole video on it. So what I would actually do with these med ball slams would be a rotational slam, whether it's rotating, throwing into the wall, whether it's a rainbow slam side to side, but that's what I would do. But I didn't write this program, ChatGPT did. So we're going to do what it says.
And it's a curse or a consequence of some last line of defense. I try so hard to be something you want.
Last exercise is mountain climbers. Start in a push-up position with your hands shoulder width apart. Bring one knee toward your chest, then quickly switch legs, simulating a running motion. Continue alternating legs as quickly as possible for 30 to 60 seconds, rest for 30 seconds, and repeat for a total of 3 sets. Here's the thing. I would never do mountain climbers ever on my own, ever. I've never programmed that for myself. They're just kind of silly. Like there are better exercises out there. Here's my exception for mountain climbers when I actually use them. You will see them every once in a while in my core class. And that is because that class is done to the beat of music. And sometimes that music be beaten in a way where you're like, let's run it out. Let's run it out in that plank. So I use it for fun. That's the biggest quotes because they're not fun. Fun, beat-driven purposes. If you are a private client of mine, you will never do mountain climbers. If you are doing any other strength-based workout of mine, you will never do mountain climbers. If it were me, I would end with the plank. I would cut the mountain climbers, but unfortunately, we have to do them.
Call me out, I'll be overwhelmed. And I'm sorry for not speaking up. I never share my feelings, but I'll finally get to be myself.
Okay, some thoughts. Obviously, the gym was very hot. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not get through all of the sets and reps that ChatGPT told me I should be doing. Just wasn't going to happen. It must have been like 100 degrees in there. But I will say, as I was going through it, I was also realizing like some other notes that I had aside from like all kind of being in the sagittal plane, all kind of being the same tempo. Most of these exercises were anterior loaded or front loaded. So if we think about the squats, that's going to tax the front of the body. Right into push-ups, taxing the front of the body. Deadlifts, back of the body, so that's a nice change. Lunges, I guess depending on where you're holding the weight. Mountain climbers, front of the body. Med ball slams, I guess that is the back. We're using a lot of shoulder though to bring that up. Planks, front of the body. Like it was definitely just very anterior dominant. You know, there really just wasn't anything. Like there was no upper body pull. Really the only pulling movements were the deadlift, and then I guess you can make a case for the med ball slams. And while functional really just means like with purpose. So you could kind of argue any workout is functional if it applies to you. If I think of the everyday person, most people are going to need to use more of those pulling muscles because our life is very anterior dominant. So just to help, even out imbalances from daily life, I feel like the fact that there was very little pulling movements in here doesn't actually make it super functional for the everyday person. So I think those are my overall thoughts. Like, to be honest, it just kind of felt like any YouTuber or like influencer workout that they just kind of like put up online. It's definitely way too high volume to like work with any significant weight, in my opinion, without feeling like you literally got hit by a bus the next day. So my recommendation, I would choose 4 or 5 exercises outside of your warm-up. Focus on those, load them up, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. I think that's a really good place for most people. So even though the gym ended up kind of being a bust, I hope you still enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any other ideas using like AI technology. Obviously, ChatGPT is like super, super basic. So if you have any recommendations of other things I could try, let me know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.